Okay, we're back to graphing rational functions. This is the second kind of equation you're going to see here in general form. That means that it's not standard form and we have to factor. We definitely have to be aware of wholes and identify all asymptotes. First off, recognize that we have a degree of 1 in the numerator and a degree of 2 in the denominator. So the numerator is less than the denominator degree, meaning one of the asymptotes is y equals 0. But we have to factor both the numerator and denominator first. So let's factor 2x minus 6. That has a GCF of 2. Let's factor x squared minus 7x plus 12, which is a Ma method trinomial. So when I factor these, that will help me find vertical asymptotes and wholes. My numerator factors as 2 times x minus 3. My denominator factors as x minus 3 times x minus 4 using the Ma method. And now since I have a factor of x minus 3 in both the numerator and denominator, that creates my whole. That gives me a whole at x equals 3. The equation simplifies, change to blue, simplifies into 2 over x minus 4. That's what I'm going to keep graphing with. So while my whole is at x equals 3, I'm going to plug 3 for x right here into the function, which tells me that my whole, when I go to graph it, will be where y is equal to negative 2. So at 3, negative 2, I have a whole. 3, negative 2. Graph a big whole. Next, let's look at asymptotes. We already established lesser degree numerator to denominator means that I have an asymptote at y equals 0. And looking at the new function, the denominator can't be 0, so if x was equal to 4, 4 minus 4 would be 0. So my vertical is x equals 4. Let's graph those. So if my whole is at x equals 3, which gave me the point 3, negative 2, and I have an asymptote of x equals 4, it's right next to it, and I have an asymptote y equals 0, so there's my two asymptotes. Now I just need to plug in a point on either side of the vertical asymptote. So I'm going to plug in where x is 5 into this equation, which, if I put 5 here, I get 2 over 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1, so 2 over 1 is 1. Therefore, where x is 5, I get the point 2. 5, 2. 5, 2. Put a point. That's an actual point on the graph, not a whole. And goes to the asymptotes. So draw it up and draw it down, and there's your function. And since I already have my whole here in the other quadrant where x is 3, I already have the whole. I know it's going to go up to the asymptote and down to that asymptote, so I can finish the graph out. And that's done. Remember that the overall function simplified into f of x is equal to 2 over x minus 4. That's truly the graph I have, with the whole established from canceling out the factors and my asymptotes.